We are truly more powerful than what we believe. The power that's within us is incredibly great. And what gets in the way of that personal power is our thoughts. It's the narratives we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves as to why we can't do something or why something's hard. But if we only just shift that narrative, that's where we kind of stand in our true power. And that's what the experience with dry fasting and fasting has given me, is to understand my true power, is to just get through those thoughts that say, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, I want to give into this craving. What is on the other side of those thoughts? Those thoughts of, I just want to eat this entire plate of food right now and then eat another one. What happens if we sit long enough with those thoughts? Eventually, the emotion dies down and we come to the other side of that. And on the other side of those difficult thoughts becomes our strength. That's where we find our strength. Going through the hard times is necessary to build yourself up. In order to create change in your life, you have to become change. You have to change. It's not going to be a new relationship that's going to save you. It's not going to be having all this money in the world that's going to save you. It's not the financial freedom. What is saving you is who you become, is that transition from within. And you can make that transition before the change lines up with your reality. In fact, most of us have to make that transition. And when we make that transition, we can do it in a way that we are abundant. And we can do it in a way where we can believe in ourselves. I've been listening to a lot of Joe Dispenza lately, and he was saying, what I love this: believe, behave, become. Just those 3 words. Believe. Believe you can do it. Imagine yourself doing it. Imagine yourself sticking to those calories. Imagine yourself becoming at your dream physique. Imagine yourself getting that house you want. Believe, and then become. It's not just believe. Become is the action. You got to become it. You got to embody it. You got to combine that belief with becoming. And you got to do that in a way that it begins with behavior. So you believe and then you behave. And you behave in line with your beliefs. And you bring those 2 together and eventually you become it. And when you become it, it becomes around you and you embody it. Honestly, at the end of the day, no matter what in life, it's all about your mindset. It is your brain that's going to get you through. It is the narrative that you tell yourself. It's all about the narratives. Many people think themselves into a miserable life, especially here in North America. I'm very guilty of this. I think my life is so horrible sometimes. But is it really? Is it really? When you think back and sit down, I have all my limbs. You know, I have my 2 legs, I have my 2 arms, I have shelter, I have access to food, I have water, I'm safe. Is life really that bad? Is it really that bad? What makes it bad is our thoughts beyond the things that we don't have. Like, let's say we don't have that body, or we don't have this YouTube following that we want, or we don't have the life that we want to create. Like, meaning that, you don't have the financial freedom to go out and do what you want. So does that mean my life is bad? No, but you can take the opportunity and build with what you have. Like, I see it so many times. There's people who come from countries that are war torn. They've been through the worst trauma in the world. And then they come here to Canada or America, and then they build multi-billion-dollar businesses. Why? Believe, behave, become. What else did Joe Dispenza say? From knowledge to experience to wisdom. It's not only just knowing about it. It's not knowing what to do. Yeah, you know how to lose weight. Yeah, you may know how to count calories and you may know how to do it. But you got to experience it. You got to do it. You got to act. And then that action becomes wisdom. And when it becomes wisdom, that's when it becomes automatic. That's when it becomes a point where you just are wise enough to be in control of your weight loss journey or be in control of your fitness journey. I just realized I was not looking at the camera. That's the camera. Just be in control of all of that. So, yes, it all starts and ends with the mind. And this is something that you're going to have to work on diligently, day in and day out. It's about reprogramming that old self to become a new self, reprogramming those old stories that, you continuously tell yourself day in and day out. It's going to take a lot of energy to do that. And that energy requires you to just keep thinking, just keep embodying it. And then things just happen. And that's how you kind of fall into happiness and you create the life you want. So I know this. It's just a matter of knowing, experience, and wisdom. It's actually doing it. From thinking to doing to being, from thinking it to doing it to becoming it. That's what it's all about. To knowing in your head and applying it to your hands, to believing it in your heart. Exactly. Knowing it in your head, knowing it, seeing it. At the end of the day, our brain can't tell the difference through like what we think through imagination, our subconscious brain. So if we are thinking that we are in that like dream career, or we are thinking that we are in that dream body, if we keep imagining it, this is what manifestation is. Manifestation is not just thinking, it's action. And what manifestation is about, it's about embodying it in the brain so you can embody it in the body and then you become it. And it's not just a one-part thing, it's a twofold thing. You got to act like you are your future self. You got to act where you want to be right now. Anyway, I don't know where the heck that came from, but I just came from the concussion clinic and I go into like a deep state of relaxation because they kind of calm my nerves, and I meditate. And I was listening to Joe Dispenza on the drive there, and I was just meditating and just imagining the life I want. And then when I was driving back home, Joe Dispenza said something and it clicked in my head. It's not the new relationships that's going to change you. It's not the new house or whatever you want, the new body. It's you changing from within. And I've experienced that myself. When I was at my lowest weight, I was freaking out. I was like, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? I was 169 pounds, the lowest weight I've ever been. I was not appreciating where I was at because the change did not happen from within. And that's why people cannot lose weight and keep it off. The change did not happen from within. You can have all the weight loss surgery in the world. You can go have all the surgery in the world and make your body look a certain way. But if you are not changing from within, it's not sustainable. It's just going to fall apart. Anyway, I'm going to look at the chat. Hey, Life, nice to have you here. Appropriate that you're here considering I was talking about all this stuff and you talk about all this stuff on your channel. I got to do a nice catch up on your channel because I'm feeling this vibe right now and I just need to embody it. And I appreciate you doing the content that you do because it reminds me and many others every day to just embody what they want to become, and it starts with the mind. Life says, welcome everyone. Hey Simone, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Hi Jean. Just Jean says, hi Daniela, miss you these few days. How are you? Hi everyone. Hey Jean, I actually got that tea. I meant to bring it, but it's in the kitchen. I started drinking that yerba mate tea. I bought it. It was $18, but it's okay. It's worth it. The holly plant. Thank you for that. I bought it, and there's just something about the tea. I know it's like for energy and weight loss, but there's something more to it. It really calms me down. It just makes me feel at peace for sure. I absolutely love it. Hey, Lisa, welcome to the live stream. Nice to have you here. Life's Magical Journey says gratitude. Yes, gratitude is everything. It's something I need to go back into my habit tracking and tracking daily gratitude because I literally get so lost in my lack, so lost in what I don't have that I'm missing out on what I do have. And when you miss out on what you do have is not going to multiply. So like, You know, it's all about the mind. We are so powerful, and it all starts with the mind and the heart. Combining the mind and the heart into one and just living in love. That's what it's about. It's tough in this day and age. It's tough being a human and being, because the human brain default is to go to the negative. But that's what I love about fasting. That's what I love about, let's position this properly. That's what I love about just literally I could do without fasting for weight loss, but I truly fast, especially dry fasting. I truly do it just to connect with myself on a deeper level. It's really hard to explain, but I know tons of religions have done it. Oh, Simone says, great message today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, Portia. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Nice to see you. Casey says, so excited you're going to talk about dry fasting. Yes, I am. So let's get to it, shall we? What did I call this live stream? I have notes this time. I called this live stream, so I always forget. Oh, how to boost your weight loss with dry fasting. I keep getting questions about dry fasting, how to do dry fasting, how do you start it, and what have you. And there's not enough content out there. But I want to bombard my brain with as much information as I can. I do know a lot more than the average person about dry fasting. So I'm going to share with you exactly how to start dry fasting. I have notes here, so I'm going to be looking at them. Number one, so you want to start your dry fast the night before, in the evening. You want to start your dry fast in the evening. And here's the reason why. It's just easier because you start your dry fast and you're sleeping. It just makes things easier to do it that way. So you basically start your dry fast before you get into your dry fast. You want to have like a nice meal, like a normal sized meal. You can go higher than normal if you want. Like, I don't mind doing that. I like to go into prolonged fasts with a lot of carbs in me. It just makes the fast a little easier. You don't have to do that, but have a nice sizable meal in the evening. Drink plenty of water. Get your sodium and potassium, but like, you want to make sure that's all in the food, but drink plenty of water. Like, drink copious amounts of water. Like, you should be like bloated with water. That's how I like to get my dry fast and start it. And then go to bed and you start your day. Now, it's important to note, when you do dry fasting, you want to have nothing planned. You want to be at home. You can go out, you can go out for a short walk or what have you, but you don't want to do it on a busy day. And that's a mistake I made, especially on a summer's day when it's hot out there. I had someone ask me and they're like, dry fasting, how? I'm like, I stayed at home and I just read a book, meditated, took naps when I needed to, because your body's going to want to take naps while it's dry fasting. And you just use it as a time to connect with yourself, which is why I kind of like did my little talk in the beginning. It's about becoming familiar with yourself, because knowledge, like self-knowledge, is empowerment, and you just kind of connect with yourself, build stuff. I was reading a personal development book about optimism and maybe like watching some, entertainment stuff, but you want to be at a state of just rest. Now, there is a point during your dry fast where you have a boost of energy. And if you have a boost of energy, just go for a walk or do some core exercises like I did. I only did core exercises because I need to work on my core, as it helps my back and my pain issues out. But yeah, you will get a burst of energy. But when you do dry fasting, you want to be at home and you want to be completely rested. So like I said, eat a normal sized meal or more, drink tons of water, get in sodium and potassium, and then go to sleep. So then when you wake up in the morning, you're a good 10 to 12 hours into your dry fast. The next day, number 2, I said that, do absolutely nothing while you're dry fasting. Absolutely nothing. You just want to limit your activity. You can do household chores. It's a great day to do some household chores. Nothing too strenuous. Maybe like sweeping, mopping, light laundry. Is there such thing as light laundry? Basic laundry. Take it easy. Have a chill day and go from there. Now I got to mention, there are 2 types of dry fasts. There's the hardcore dry fast. That means it's called a hard dry fast. That means you don't touch water at all. You don't brush your teeth, you don't shower, or what have you. And then there's a soft dry fast where you brush your teeth, you shower, and you can have a bath. I have no interest in doing a hardcore dry fast. There's no point in doing a hard dry fast. Why? I think you can get good results with the soft dry fast, which is absolutely fine. So a soft dry fast, the way I dry fast is that I brush my teeth in the morning and I take a shower. Like that's like my time. And I find that when you dry fast and you brush your teeth, but especially when you take a shower, you feel so good because what happens when you dry fast is that your body gets smart. Your body starts to suck in moisture in other avenues. It uses the skin. The skin is the biggest organ we have in our body. It's like our first line of defense of our immune system because it protects us, right? You get a cut, it can get infected. There you go. So what dry fasting does, it opens up the pores of your skin and it kind of like takes in water. Another thing I want to talk about skin and dry fasting is, oh my goodness, like I have a bunch of notes here because I was listening to Dr. Mindy Pels, but dry fasting is everything for the skin. So when it comes to the skin, I've always said this, when I dry fast, my skin clears up. So anyone who has skin issues may have rosacea, maybe acne, or any sort of skin issues, dry fast, and it will help you clear up those skin issues for sure. And I was remember listening to Dr. Mindy Pels, and she was talking about how the skin has its own immune system, which again makes sense. It's the first line of defense. And what happens is that when we dry fast, the skin's immune system resets. So it gets rid of inflammation. So what's acne? What's rosacea? It's all inflammation or whatever skin issue you may have. There's so many skin issues nowadays. Everyone's struggling with skin issues. And I think it has a lot to do with the diet, the lifestyle, the stress, and what have you. You know, when I was younger, not to date myself, I'm not that old. I'm 34. Oh, I guess that is old. But when I was younger, like when people had skin issues, it was mainly due to like teenage acne, you know, the basic hormonal thing. But now everyone's having it. And I just said a key word, hormonal. A lot of people are having issues with their hormones. A lot of people are just like in a state of adolescence. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but a lot of people are having acne issues and skin issues, and it all has to do with hormones. And the beautiful thing about dry fasting, it does reset your hormones. So does regular fasting, but it does. It like your body goes in and like rebalances itself. And I know this sounds absolutely insane, but dry fasting is 10 times easier than water fasting. And what I love to do is combine my dry fast with the water fast. So in my last, you guys will see it. I haven't posted it yet, but I just came off a 45-hour fast slash dry fast. So what I did for that almost 2 days of fasting, I dry fasted for 30 hours. And that was still enough for me to see the results of the dry fast, to see the same weight loss effect you have with the dry fast. This is the weight loss hierarchy if you want to lose weight and get it off pretty quick. Number one is dry fasting. You lose way more weight with dry fasting than you do with water fasting. Some people say it's the same. My personal experience, I've lost way more weight with dry fasting, probably because your body is really going in there, and autophagy is like the highest with dry fasting. Again, I'll get to the hierarchy with autophagy. So when it comes to weight loss, at the end of the day, let me make this clear. Weight loss is about being in a calorie deficit. At the end of the day, whatever you can do to keep yourself in a calorie deficit is successful. It could be with cycles of fasting, it could be with calorie counting, but at the end of the day, you want to learn how to properly eat light and make sure you are eating light and being in a calorie deficit on the daily. But weight loss at the end of the day is about calorie deficit. But talking about short-term quick weight loss, dry fasting's number one, fasting's number two, water fasting. Number three is probably autophagy fasting. What is autophagy fasting? It's basically keeping your protein less than 20 grams per day, and you're keeping your fat at a certain rate, and you're eating less than 1,000 calories. That's probably the next. Like any low calorie diet, and when I say low calorie diet, anything 1,000 calories or less, that's probably like the next bet. in terms of losing weight. And then number three, throw in OMAD, depending on how you do that. OMAD could be tied with the one I said, the low calorie diet, depending how you're doing your OMAD. And then the next one is calorie counting, for sure. Putting yourself in a calorie deficit, eating less than maintenance calories. So that would be like the weight loss hierarchy in terms of losing weight the quickest. But dry fasting is just incredibly powerful and I like it. I'm not telling anyone to dry fast. I'm just sharing with you my experience with dry fasting and how I do find it easier than water fasting. Let me go back to that. So when I actually ended my fast earlier than I needed to. I could have went on longer, but I wanted to work out. That's another thing. No exercise at all when you're dry fasting, unless you get that burst of energy, because you'll get that burst of energy. Go for a short walk. I don't understand people who weight train dry fasting. That's stupid. I would not recommend that. But you want to keep your energy as low as possible. With water fasting or salt water fasting, you can go for walks. You can get away with an hour walk, depending on your activity level. I can do an hour walk, do a nice house clean, and I'll be okay. But going back to combining dry fasting with water fasting, so when you dry fast and then you break that dry fast with water, it gets kind of easier. I don't know. It just does. And when I did that, I was like, I could keep going. But again, I broke my fast because I wanted to work out. And another reason why dry fasting is easier than water fasting, the hunger is gone. I know it sounds insane. I know it sounds insane. It's just like OMAD and keto OMAD. It's like the same story. You think keto OMAD's harder, but it's actually easier because it crushes the hunger. You think dry fasting's harder, but it's actually easier because it crushes the hunger. Like your body just goes into a state. What happens when you dry fast with the hunger? Basically, your entire digestive system shuts down and your body is in full on autophagy mode. So it's recycling old damaged cells and it's it's healing the body. It's reducing inflammation. It's literally getting, because when you're inflamed, you're puffy, you got water. So your body's just getting water from like inflamed tissues. So that's why dry fasting is great for anyone who has injuries, any inflammation. If you're obese, it works. The trick about dry fasting is coming off of it, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it just literally shuts down your system, and your body just is so smart. We have to remember we are multicellular organisms, right? We have trillions of cells on us. We even have foreign cells, bacterial cells, which and our microbiome that we talk about, everyone talks about it. Like, I think there's more microbial cells on us. But like, anyway, we're multicellular beings, right? Life on Earth started in water, okay? And when it started in water, it started as a unicellular being that became a multicellular being. So you have to remember our cells are smart, evolutionary speaking. They're very smart. They're not dumb. Like we are a result of this. Animals, you see animals or insects. Ew, I don't like insects. Why am I talking about insects? Anyway, multicellular beings, like they're all like each cell has its own innate wisdom. So what happens when we dry fast? All of our cells get smart and it becomes innately, and they work innately together. The damaged cells can't do that. So what do the healthy cells do? They go through autophagy and they break down those damaged cells and they recycle it by taking the nutrients they want from it, the damaged proteins, and reorganizing it and healing itself. They're taking inflammation away and what have you. So, like, dry fasting is amazing, especially for anyone with any issues. Like me, I have it's good for skin issues, number one. It's very good for anyone with inflammation, like me. It's good, it can help with weight loss, of course. But the key to dry fasting, let's talk about breaking your, how to break your dry fast. That's actually that's key. So, you got to be careful with dry fasting. The longest dry fast I've ever done was 2 days. And that was back in May when I did a full-on 2-day dry fast. Things start to get tricky after 3 days. Like 3-day dry fasting, there's a way to break it. But I'm just going to make this a general rule so everyone stays relatively safe. You don't want to go break your dry fast with food. You need to systematically break your dry fast properly. So after you are done dry fasting, You want to actually have a hot cup of baking soda and just a teaspoon, just like you would do to make your electrolyte drink or your snake juice drink or what have you. Just a teaspoon of baking soda in 1 hot cup of water. You drink that. What that does, it wakes up your kidneys, it activates your system. And then you wait a couple hours, in like an hour or two, and then you have some water, regular water, and you have water with some electrolytes in there. And then you wait a couple hours and maybe break that fast with some bone broth if you're doing like a low carb kind of thing, or some fruits. And then further on, you wait another couple hours and then you have a meal. So I totally forgot to mention there, step 2. So you break your dry fast. Number 1, you break it with baking soda, wait a couple hours, and then you break it with water and electrolytes. So a couple hours after that, you can actually break your dry fast with coconut water. Coconut water is very good. I highly recommend getting the coconuts. I'm laughing because I remember a few live streams ago, I was late because of a coconut. Stupid coconut. It didn't open. But the natural coconuts are good because it's very like refreshing, and it tastes amazing. But anyway, just get some coconut water. You want to get some organic coconut water, and you break your dry fast with that. Not breaking it, but after you have the baking soda, because the baking soda is going to protect the kidneys, because the kidneys are pretty hot. They're very hot after your dry fasting because you're getting no water. So to protect the kidneys, you want to have the baking soda, followed by a couple hours later, electrolytes and water. Drink tons of water, followed by a small kind of like, you can have some bone broth or some fruits, a small meal, and then a couple hours later, have your regular meal. And mind you, if you do break your dry fast a little too soon, or not too soon, if you like, does this happen to me? If you break your dry fast and you eat a little too soon, your digestive system will freak out and you'll end up having the runs. Just saving TMI there. So that can happen. So you want to slowly systematically do that. So that's how you dry fast. You basically just don't do anything. Don't be active. Stay out of the sun, of course. And there will be symptoms. Like my first dry fast, I had a massive headache. Like, I think it was after 24 hours, I had a massive headache. It will pass. Just take a nap, and it will pass if you get a headache fasting. Just rest, dim the lights and take it easy, and it will pass and you will be okay. But again, I'm just sharing with you my experience with dry fasting. You don't have to do it. I'm not an expert with dry fasting. I don't think there's a lot of experts out there when it comes to dry fasting. I'm just sharing with you my knowledge based on what I've learned, based on coaching tips I've got from Cole. So like, this is just my experience, and I do love dry fasting. Now, the most important thing to recognize when it comes to losing weight and weight loss, you have to know, like, the fast does not count if you do not keep the weight loss off. Now, let's talk about weight gain after a dry fast. After dry fasting, and if you eat a proper diet and you cut your calories, let's say for me, 1,200 calories, for men, whatever it is, 1,800, but you cut it low. And if you eat within a calorie deficit, your weight gain will probably be a pound, depending on how long you did the dry fast. Because when I broke my dry fast, I went up a pound. That's just water. It's just water. But literally, my transformation, it's on the thumbnail. Like, my core just leaned the heck out. And that's what I love about fasting. It just leans things out. No matter what fasting you do, whether it's OMAD, whatever, what have you, salt water fasting, it just goes for the core. And obviously the body's going to go for the core, because the core fat, subcutaneous fat around the tummy, that's the fat that our body goes for, because it's the quickest access fat to our body. So our body stores in our midsection for, a rainy day. And that's why we see a lot of people with a big midsection, because we're overeating and we're overconsuming certain foods and what have you. But the body will go for that core. I know you can't spot reduce. People don't understand this. It goes for the core. There's a reason why when you measure yourself around the smallest width of your waist. Like, the waist measurement matters. I've had 2 of my personal trainers slash coaches tell me that. Marcella told me that. She's like, the only thing that matters is the waist circumference, and Cole told me that. And the reason why that matters is because it indicates fat loss in the waist. So it makes sense that fasting targets fat loss and weight loss by going for the excess fat in your tummy area. So yeah, I just loved it. My core shrunk so much after a dry fast. I want to do another one. I'm thinking of doing weekly dry fasts. The thing is, I want to work out, but I'm like, on my off days doing a dry fast. I love it. And I'm going to do that combo again. Like have like a sip of water and then do like 30 or so hours. Like if even like start off dry fasting. You don't have to do anything too long, like 2 days. Start out with a 24-hour dry fast. That is safe. You know why? Because when I was having my CT scan, guess what the doctors made me do? I was having it for my abdominal because I had issues. That's because I was eating a crap diet and I was like almost 300 pounds. And they were trying to figure out if I had something growing in there. But it's all about the diet. Anyway, the doctors told me to dry fast. They said no food, no water for 24 hours. So if doctors make people dry fast for certain abdominal tests, I think 24 hours is a safe bet, and see what happens. Watch what happens. Try a 24-hour dry fast if you are interested in seeing how it affects you for weight loss. Does it tighten up loose skin? I will tell you, for me, I've had that experience, yes, but at the end of the day, loose skin gets tightened up the leaner you get, and it's based on genetics, okay? Not like there is a genetic component to it. But over time, loose skin does tighten up as long as you don't put on the weight back. So a lot of people want me to do a loose skin video, which I will eventually. I will get to that. I just want to get back to my leanest weight right now. So yeah, I jumped into this dry fast because I was having issues. Like ever since it's been a month, have not been consistent with OMAD. I've fallen off the OMAD train, and I think Cole did a recent video talking about this, how he was saying that on the long term, OMAD isn't that adherable. When I saw that, I was like, okay, it's adherable when you get to the weight, when you get the weight off, like once you get the weight off. But when you are at a decent body weight, which I think he mentioned in the video, it gets a bit harder. And I did OMAD consistently for 8 months. Something you got to know about me, I get really bored. I get bored with diets. I just get really bored with things, meaning that I need to switch things up. I strongly believe in metabolic flexibility. I've said this over and over and over again. OMAD got me a lot of things, and I will always continue. I'm not going to do it forever, but I'm always going to use OMAD as a tool for sure. But OMAD got me to 100 pounds down. It got me to getting to Wonderland. It did great things for me. But the smartest dieters know how to adapt to the current circumstances. OMAD's definitely easier when you have tons of body fat on you. But one thing I want to really mention about OMAD is that you chase that feeling of being nice and full and big, and that's a problem. In order to keep weight off, you got to learn how to eat light. So there is a transition period that has to happen with OMAD. So if you're doing that tight OMAD eating window, start opening up, start breaking up your meals. If you're having all of your meal within a half an hour eating window, start doing that. And one thing I wish I never did was tell anyone to not count their calories, because at the end of the day, with the 23-1 intermittent fasting method, I always said if you did 24 or more, you have to count your calories. You do, because you'll just overeat. But even with 23-1, I would save that for a cheat day. Use 23-1 OMAD, a day that you just don't want to count your calories. Use that for a cheat day where you're having some junk food. Eat it within a half an hour eating window, and you're guaranteed the scale won't do anything crazy. But on the regular, you need to count your calories. I'm never going to stop counting my calories, because when you stop counting your calories and you're trying to get back into counting calories, it's a tough. And that is my current situation. So I'm fighting right now to get back into calorie counting, because from day one, I was always a calorie counter. And then my coach told me not to. So I'm blaming no one but myself. I take full responsibility here, but I'm going back into calorie counting. I am going to forever calorie count. It's just easier that way, unless I'm doing a 23-1 OMAD day because I'm having a cheat meal. But it's just so important for someone like me who's who struggles with binge eating and who's going through a very stressful time emotionally. It's so important to have the calorie counting as that self-check system. So important. So right now, my eating situation, I'm trying to figure it out. After the dry fast, I dropped 5.4 pounds. I dropped a lot of weight. The scale did go up there, but it was a weird weigh-in in that I weighed myself in the morning after overeating, and it was day one of my period. So I kind of like exaggerated the scale there. Whatever, it is what it is. I'll explain it in the video whenever it comes out. But I started my dry fast way up there. I was not in the obesity category still. I'm still overweight. So OMAD does keeps you in check. But I started the dry fast and I lost 5 pounds in 45 hours, 5.4 pounds in 45 hours. And since then, I've kept that weight off, and now, which is good. After breaking your dry fast, you want to be able to keep the weight off. But now the weight's just staying. And I need it to go down, down, down. And this is where it's important to have a plan after any diet, whatever diet it may be. And that plan should just be counting your calories. It's learning how to eat light. So I'm going back to snack stacking. I think that was the best method I've learned from Cole. It was the most successful method I had. And I remember there was a time, if I remember correctly, I was doing it. And then he told me to get off of it and he put me on, I don't know what he did. He switched me around because he just wanted to see things. But I was so confident with that method. I loved that method. So it was basically eating a 300 calorie meal every couple of hours after fasting for a good maybe 18 hours or so. So today I'm going to do that. I'm going to fast for 20 hours today. I'm going to fast for 20 hours. So that means I eat around 4:15. And then I'm going to break it with I'm going to go keto right now because I need to crush my hunger. My hunger is through the roof because of these muscles. I'm not going to blame the muscles. I love my muscles, but muscles are metabolically expensive. And when you're trying to lose weight and they make you eat, it's not fun. But eventually, I just want to do this. I just want to cut to a new low weight, but I'm going to do this for now. So I'm just going to have a 300 calorie meal, wait a couple hours, and have another 300 calorie meal. I was the most successful with this method. Waking up at 5 a.m., not by choice. I would always wake up at 5 a.m. anyway because I'm a plumber and we would have to wake up that early. Plus, it's how I started my weight loss journey. I would always wake up at 5 a.m. before my son got up because at the time he was like, what, 4? He was 3 or 4 years old. So I'd always get up before he got up, work out, take care of myself, and then I would take care of him for the day, or I would go to school or what have you. So waking up in the morning, getting the workout out of the way, and my exercise routine is back to snake cardio. I don't know if you guys remember that. So basically, it's low impact, steady state cardio. I'm back on the treadmill. Thank you, Jesus. I don't know where my knee brace is, but now that I have my knee brace, it's right there. My knee is more stabilized. So I just go on the treadmill. I walk at a high incline of 15, which is the max incline of the treadmill, 15.0, and I walk for an hour. And I realize I'm in better shape because I used to do 1.1 mile per hour. It was too slow for me. My heart rate was sitting in the low 100s. I'm like, this is not doing anything to me. So I've now bumped that to 2 miles per hour because my conditioning is on point thanks to swimming and all that, which I need to get back to the pool, and I will. So I do that for an hour. I get in an hour of cardio. When I'm on the treadmill, I'm listening to Joe Dispenza or I'm reading a book. I am conditioning my mind. That is my mental kitchen, my mental garage. I'm just literally on that treadmill and I'm bombarding my head with all the positive things. I know a lot of people, well, bodybuilders who I watch, are like, I hate cardio, I hate cardio. Cardio is a great mindful activity. It's a great time to connect that mind and body. Cardio is amazing, and I cannot wait to get back to running. I will in due time. But I go on the treadmill for an hour. I do tons of cardio in the beginning. Then I do some core work, and then I jump into one set training or body weight training. I've been doing a lot of body weight training and one set training. That way my hunger won't be so crazy through the roof. So once I get down to a low weight that I want to, like, that I will be happy with, that's where I'm going to go back to training like a crazy person. And that's where my hunger is going to ramp up. Let my hunger ramp up, let me work out, and then my body will just maintain weight. So that's how I maintain weight. Because again, that's another question I get from a lot of people: how to maintain weight loss. Train like a crazy person? No. Just lift weights, get a nice pump, lift weights four times a week, do 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, or full body, or 3 full body days, and maybe an intense cardio day. And eat at your maintenance. Again, you got to figure out what your maintenance is. I don't know what my maintenance is when I'm 100, and let's say I do want to aim for 155. Whatever. Let's just say I'm aiming for 155. But I don't know what my maintenance is at 155 is. I'm going to figure that out. How am I going to figure that out? Through the weight log. I'm going to make sure I'm weighing myself daily and I have my calorie count. So I'm going to be documenting this all on my channel. So I'm showing you guys the process. I'm never abandoning calorie counting again. Never. Never, never, never. It makes my life easier. Some people are like, it's stressful. It's only stressful when you stop counting calories and you're trying to get on it. Or it's only stressful if you are not counting calories and you're trying to get into it. But once you get into the habit of counting calories, it is a breeze. It is a breeze. So that's literally how you maintain your weight loss. You just have to stay active and count your calories, get to your maintenance calories. And once you're at your maintenance calories, it's gonna be at a point where it's easy to eat. Like, it's not gonna feel like you're dieting or anything. You just eat a normal diet and weight train away and do some exercise. In order to keep the weight off, you gotta maintain an active and healthy lifestyle. You can't stop working out and you can't stop tracking. I have to say this. You just got to keep tracking. Everyone I know who's lost weight and they regained weight, when does that happen? Is when they stop tracking. Me, for example, I'm up a good 12 pounds from my lowest weight. Why did that happen? Because I stopped tracking. So always tracking in some method. It may not be calorie counting. I'm recommending calorie counting because it's just a great way to portion control. It's the easiest way to portion control. I know people say they portion control. I don't know how you do that. I guess they eyeball it. I don't know. But some people can get away with doing that. I personally can't, as a former binge eater or an emotional eater. No way. But as long as you're keeping track of your nutrition or you're weighing yourself daily, I say just do both. Do both. It's worth it. It's worth it. People just don't want to do the work. At the end of the day, no matter what method you use to lose weight, whether it be calorie counting, like the basic calorie, like 3 meals a day, whatever calorie counting, or doing OMAD, it is work. It is work. So people just need to start with the mind, which is what I started off with this live stream, talking about the narrative you're telling yourself. If you're telling yourself this is hard, if you're telling yourself calorie counting is going to get me out of control, no, calorie counting puts you in control. Weighing yourself daily puts you in control. You have to shift the narrative, work on the mind. And again, I do have a YouTube video that I filmed coming out about meditation and weight loss and visualization and the whole lot. Because that's how I was able to lose this weight with a messed up shoulder, a knee that is on life support, a brain that is, God knows what it's doing, but it's trying its best. Thank you, brain. And a mangled body from a car accident and being in tremendous amount of pain, going through withdrawals from all the medication I was on and having issues with it in my personal life, being in a very unhappy, I checked out of the relationship years ago. We already talked about that. We don't need to get into that. But you stay for your child, you do things for your kid. They always say, stay for the kid. But when it starts affecting the kid, you leave. So even through all of that, I was able to do that because I am a stress eater. I run to food. So you just have to see yourself outside your situation. And you got to work on yourself day in and day out. Meditate daily. There's tons of apps. I like the Insight Timer app. That's the app that has that weight loss meditation on it. Wow, I talked a lot. Holy smokes. 44 hours. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. That was a lot of talking. My goodness. Sorry. Life's Magical Journey says, thank you so much. Your content speaks to me as well. I love it here. Oh, thank you so much, Life. Thank you. Lisa says, Hi, Daniela. I'm used to water fasting just about every day for 23 hours. Do you think I'd be able to do a 24-hour dry fast while working, or should I wait for my days off? Please wait for your days off, Lisa. Don't do it working. You want to be at home. Just water fast normally. Like for your first dry fast, do it at home. Do 24 hours. And then if you want to push it further to like 30, maybe a 48-hour dry fast, which is good enough. If you're interested in that, do that one at home. And then get used to dry fasting, and you might come to a point where you may be adaptable enough to do it at work, depending on what your job is. If it's a desk job, you could do it, but get your body adapted to it, because your body just needs to get dry fast adapted. It's the same way, but you don't have to do it too often. Dry fasting is just, it's just a tool. It's just a tool at the end of the day. So yeah, no, you might be able to do it at work depending on your job, but I highly recommend the first couple of dry fasts, do it on your day off, and just take it easy. You can go for a drive, go for a nice scenic, place, just lay out in the, maybe not the sun, because it might be too hot depending on how you're feeling, but just take it easy. Dry fasting is a time to connect to yourself, work on some mindset activities, anything like that. Work on the narrative in your brain or what have you, or write goals. It's a great time to journal. Like, it's a good time to use your mind to grow, because dry fasting actually boosts the mind, just like regular fasting does too. Like, they talk about people in camps, horrible camps, World War II type kind of camps. And there was a bunch of were sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. That flashed. There was a bunch of people who were starving, and they had access to books, and they were learning different languages and, learning all these math problems. The brain does something crazy when you are in a state of fasting. Well, they were in starvation mode, but yeah, you hear about the POWs and all that stuff, but there is power to it. Religions have been doing it for years. You see it in old texts, old Eastern philosophies. Like, our body is just so beautiful and powerful. And, not everyone's for fasting. That is fine. But more and more research is coming out, seeing how fasting can help cure things. So there you have it. Life's Magical Journey says, thanks for being here and hitting that like button. Yes, make sure you guys hit that like button, as it helps me out a lot. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Lisa says, okay, well, you answered my question. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm not sure when these comments came up, because I don't know where I was, but at least cognitively I'm getting better. Things are changing. Hey, Fugo Mama, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? Life's Magical Journey says, welcome, Fugo Mama. Starset says, ooh, wait, where did it go? Oh, wow, I have tons of comments. Sorry, guys, I'm getting to it now. Starset says, here in California, it's hot. It's good to relax under the shade, and you're burning 2 to 3 times calories because your body is heating up because it's trying to cool itself down. In terms of dry fasting, or just like in general, it's pretty hot here too. Yeah, where our weather is very similar to California, not all year round right now, for like 2 months. And then right now it's Mordor outside. I don't know where I live. I live in Middle Earth, guys. I call Alberta Middle Earth. There is no province like that. It's Mordor right now. There's fire smoke from BC. So now I'm in Mordor. Then sometimes I feel like, I went by the river the other day, because like it's so hilly and green where I live. And I'm like, am I in the Dominican? I was like so confused. I'm like, where am I? Like, the landscape here in Calgary. And then there's one part where I thought, I will never forget my first summer here in Calgary. I was driving home from the mountains, and there was this sunset. It was the most beautiful sunset I ever saw. And it was like all dry and deserty. And I put it on my Instagram music, and I play a bunch of like African music behind it. And my friend from Ontario, she was like, where are you? And I'm like, the savannah? It looked like I was in Africa. It was so weird. I don't know. This place mind boggles me, but it's so beautiful here. It's just so beautiful. But yeah, it got really hot the other day. Oh my God, it gets hot. My iPhone has heated up plenty of times here. But yeah, if you're dry fasting and it's hot, stay indoors. Stay indoors. Just Jean says, happy to hear you got the tea. $18 is not too bad. Oh yeah, it's cheap. Okay. I paid 22 to 24 on Amazon. Yeah, I saw it on Amazon. And then I decided to go to my health food store and I was like, I'm talking about the holly plant tea. It's called yerba mate. I don't know, but it's like a weight loss. It helps with weight loss, but I love it because not because of the weight loss aspect. There's something about it that makes me calm. I'm actually going to go have some after this live stream. I just feel so calm. There's the power of plants. I don't know why people shame plants. It's like plants are, make you toxic, like the whole carnivore crowd. Well, your body has to be exposed to some level of toxicity. It's like survival of the sickest. There's a book that talks about it. You got to get sick to get stronger. Yeah, eating plants may cause inflammation, but your body has to be able to go through that in order to like adapt to that. Like if you can't eat plants and you have like issues, then you're not a healthy person. You have to be able to eat different foods and have your body adapt within reason. You don't want to be eating like for me, if I eat carbs over and over again, and when I say carbs, I should be specific. Processed carbs, my body freaks out. But if I get like certain types of like homemade Italian pastas that are like pure and like non-GMO, and I have that once in a while, that doesn't bother me. My body's like, oh, I can handle this. So like plants are so beautiful. I love plants. Like I'm a vegetable person. I love my vegetables. I love edamame. It makes me happy. I might have some today. Edamame, teas are wonderful. Teas are just so powerful. Like I love teas. I have tons of teas in my cupboard. It's just insane. And I'm so glad you told me about this. But yes, okay, $18. I'm wondering if that's the same 18. No, that is expensive because you're in the US. Oh yeah, I did get it cheap because 18 Canadian. So that would probably be like 15, 14 American. So yeah, I did get it pretty cheap. Yeah, I got it at a Canadian little health food store called Community Foods. As a woman of a certain age, cortisol can pop off at any moment. This tea, yes, this tea is extremely calming with caffeine. With caffeine, that doesn't bring jitters or crazy stomach acid. Yes, it is so calming. Like I just feel so good. I'm gonna use this. This is like a mental health tea. Like, is there weight loss benefits? I'm not sure. I gotta drink it more every day, but I know there's weight loss benefits to it. But oh, so calming. And yes, the energy. Beautiful stuff. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love it when we can share stuff with each other. It's just, I'll put the name of the tea in the description, or if you can put it on there, Sheen, I can like highlight it as well. And it doesn't affect my sleep. A win-win. Yes. Oh, beautiful. I love plants. Like plants are medicine. Plant is healing. Plants just do so much for us. Like my son's growing a tobacco plant right now because at his school they do a lot of indigenous stuff, First Nation stuff, and he's just in love with this tobacco plant, and it just grows and grows. And he was telling me how the first peoples used it for like medicine, and I repotted it, and every day when he's at his grandma's house, he's telling me, he's like, mommy, water the plant. I'm like, I am. Calm down, it's okay. But plants are just beautiful. And even like for like soothing stuff, like is saffron's a spice. Saffron's very good for mental health. I believe it's a spice or herb. But lavender, like, oh, the aromatherapy, like plants make me happy. Like I used to call myself a tree hugger, but there's a bad connotation to that. But like just being around trees, like I would hug trees. Like I love nature. You feel so good and pure. And drinking nature. Tea is drinking nature. Teas are good. Teas are a great way to bring those calories down, because it keeps you full. It's a great way to get in hydration. You get in some medicine in there, anti-inflammatory properties, weight loss properties, cholesterol lowering properties. Like teas are amazing. I love teas. Love it. Swag said, just discovered you and your struggles are similar to mine. I'm 255 pounds and I just started fasting this week. Way to go. Way to go. And sorry to hear that you have similar struggles, but you can get through it. That's a great weight to start fasting. I wish I started fasting at that weight. That is a great weight. Make sure you have a good plan coming off fasting. Make sure you are counting your calories. That will be key, because I lost this weight through counting calories. Even if I did keto, I counted my calories. Even if I did OMAD, I counted my calories. I stopped counting calories like a month ago, but I kind of hit a low weight. I was at 169 pounds. But when I was heavier, like, and I'm not going to stop counting calories ever again. I mentioned that earlier on. Calories is everything, but count your calories, get used to it. It will be okay. Find those low calorie dense foods, pickles. There's that noodles. Like, I forget the name of that new. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to butcher the name, but they're like 25 calorie noodles. I have a bunch of them in my closet. There are so many ways to eat low calorie and stay satiated. So calories is everything. Protein, fats. Well, you got to be careful with fats, but depending on what you're doing, if you're using keto to lose weight, fat is your best friend. But it doesn't matter what method you use, because I've used all the methods. I've used keto, I've used calorie counting, I've done OMAD, I've done regular intermittent fasting, 16-8. Everything, what always stayed consistent was counting my calories and weigh yourself. That's something new. That's something I was recently introduced to by my coach, Cole Robinson. He always talked about weighing yourself daily. That is key. I know he weighs himself daily to this day, and he already knows how to calorie count through his head because he's done it for years. But it's all about doing those two things, and you'll be okay. There will be tough times. There will be tough times no matter what. I'm going through a tough time right now. There will be tough times, but you have to know that the tough times are just there to shape you, to get you stronger. You have to change your narrative around the tough time. Don't say, I can't do this. Say, how can I get through this hurdle? And when you get through that hurdle, you learn and you grow. So hang in there. Hang in there. Ooh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Swag says, you are inspirational. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I do want to inspire people. And like, that's kind of how I started my whole channel. I always talked about inspiring things because it just gets me through. I need to get back to that. I think I'm getting back to that. Just bombarding my head with that content, and just, it's all about the mind. Why are things shifting? Maybe I'm shifting. Am I shifting? What's going on? Oh my goodness. Stay straight. Lady T, welcome. Hi. How long is it safe to dry fast? I will not, you know what? I've seen people do 5 days. I will not go more than 3 days. I would not go more than 3 days. I'm not an expert in the field. I've known people have done 7-day dry fast, but you need a coach. You need a coach. Like, if I ever do, like, I feel no need to go that long with dry fasting. I would do a combo of like 3 days dry fasting, maybe 2 days regular to get to 5 days. But of whole fasting, but I would recommend no more than 3 days. But again, people have done 7 days, and I'm not there yet. I don't like, so I would say no more than 72 hours. And it's the key to dry fasting is how you come off of it, for sure. Swag says, I've been binge watching your videos. I'm going to get a jump rope. Yes, jump roping. Amazing. Amazing. Just even getting 5 minutes of jump roping a day is good enough. Don't overdo it with the jump rope because it might spike your appetite. But I would say 5 to 10 minutes is safe of jump roping 3 times a week. Jump roping is awesome. It's a great way to, it's the best cardio method. Jump roping is the best cardio method, I think. Well, you can say swimming, and then you can say low impact. You know what? There's no best method. They're all pretty good. But if you want fast results or fast calorie burning, jump roping is awesome for that. Crystal says, Jess, Ginny, what's the name of the tea? Wellness with Fugo Mama says, way to go, Swag. Yes, way to go. I agree. Lady T says, do you recommend Diet Cokes or just water and tea? No, I don't like Diet Coke. It's gross. I don't like Diet anything. Well, that's not true. I do like Crystal Light. No, water and tea. You don't want anything. If you want the full effect of autophagy, just do salt water, regular water, and tea. Don't touch Diet Coke. I would not do that. That is going to spike up your hunger, because Diet Coke has aspartame in it, or whatever they put in it, when you fast, you want to get rid of all that stuff because it actually makes the fasting harder, believe it or not. I've mentioned this before with OMAD. If you have OMAD and you're fasting for 23 hours a day and you go take some stevia, which is completely natural, it will spike up your insulin levels and your cortisol level, and your blood sugar goes up with that. So I would recommend not doing that. It will make the fasting harder and it could affect your results. So just do water and tea, 0-calorie tea, water, tea, and sodium and potassium, and baking soda if you want. So yeah, there you go. Crystal Galvin says, do you recommend protein shakes during fasting or in general? I think protein shakes are a great way to crush hunger if they're low calorie shakes and they're dense and you have them with almond milk. I actually want to get some protein shakes. I haven't had protein shakes in a while. I have not been taking any supplements like that. But I do. A protein shake is good because it crushes your hunger if you have it with a small meal. It can be filling. If like the way I have my protein shakes to make it very low calorie. So usually the protein shakes I like are like 110 to 120 calories per scoop. Depending on how satiating it is, I might put 2 scoops and I will have that as a meal sometimes, especially after the gym. Like I would have one of that now. I don't have any protein powder with me. I need to find, you guys in the comments, let me recommend any protein brands because like I cannot find any that I'm in love with. The only thing I'm in love with really is Shakeology, and that is from Body, formerly known as Beachbody, but I'm not spending that money for it. But I just want some good tasting protein powder. I've been meaning to try Greg Doucette's brand for the longest time but we'll see. We'll see about it. But anyway, yeah, protein shakes are good. Oh yeah, and I have it with almond milk. Almond milk. So like a cup of almond milk, no sugar. I have it plain, unsweetened, nothing. I believe it's about, is it 25 calories? Or 30 calories per 250 grams. Sorry, milliliters. So I always have my protein shakes with almond milk. That cuts the calories down. Some people have it water, mainly dudes. No. You don't want to have it with any high calorie milk, and that cuts it down. But if if it can keep you in a calorie deficit and it keeps you satiated, go for it. So I do like protein powders and shakes, and I definitely want to introduce them back. Then there's things like Premier Protein Shake. That is not as filling as whey protein and casein. Casein, did I say that right? Casein protein. I love casein. That's what I love. Oh yeah, I used to get casein. You know what? I should go to the supplement store. Casein protein, I think it's called that. I might say it wrong. I think it's casein because there's whey protein and there's casein. Casein protein takes longer to break down. And I love it because it sits on my stomach longer. So if you want some protein, get some casein. Whey is more of a faster acting protein powder. But I recommend doing the protein powders, not the Premier protein shakes. They can add up and there's so much crap in it. But I would recommend doing the powders for sure if you want to use it. But whatever tool you need to keep you in a calorie deficit is a win. And protein shakes are definitely filling. I just drink the Atkinson protein shakes. That's 170 calories. Yeah, that's like similar to Premier Protein. Atkinson, that's like high. Does it keep you full? If it keeps you full, go for it. Because I feel like it would. Because the Atkinson's diet it's kind of like a keto diet, but not really. I forget what it is. But if it keeps you full and it's 170 calories and you have it with a small snack, go for it. But for me, Premier, which isn't Atkinson's diet and it's not high in fat or anything like that I just want more. But yeah, you can try having casein protein powder too. But if the Atkinson protein shakes keeps you good, go for it. Anyway, I was a chatty bunny today. I don't know where that came from. I guess I've been social lately. I've been hanging out with my son's friends. Why do I mess this up? My son's best friend's mom, and she's awesome. I love her. I'm gonna go message her and ask to hang out again. We just stayed at the park. She's just super supportive. She knows the situation I'm going with my son's father, and she's been really there for me. And I love her because she's so funny. She's just like me. Her husband, she got married, and her husband's like, go out and make friends, you know? And she's like, well, I don't want to hang out with the married moms because the conversations I hear are just ridiculous. And then she's like, and I don't want to hang out with my friends because they don't have kids. So she's like, I'd rather just hang out with my son. And her son and my son are like this. They're like spirit animal brothers. I don't know how to explain it, but they're connected on a deep level, those two. It is so weird. And I really like his mom, so, and she's like my age. And yeah, so there's a new friend right there. It's easier to like, I know what she means about the moms. I like literally go to the schoolyard. I'm like literally in the car yelling for my son, like, Alex, come here. And I never get out of the car because, like, yeah, I know what she means about the moms. And we're both kind of like younger. We're in our early 30s. A lot of these moms are like in their 40s and they're like, you know, established and la di da. Yeah, not my crowd. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this live stream and listening to my random rant. If there's any more questions, please drop them in now. But yeah, I guess I've been very chatty lately. I wonder if it's because I'm at a certain part in my cycle, because Dr. Mindy Pels is really into the female cycle, which is important. And she talks about how like a woman's on a good day from like day 1 to like 15 of her cycle. I think I'm like on the good days. I am on the good days. Anyway, if there's not any more questions, I am going to leave you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm trying to get back into YouTube mode. Hopefully I will drop a video soon. I'll be back. But I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm sending you guys mad love. Take care. Bye.